Welcome back to Behind Bonaventure. Gary Nease with you again, and we have Kelly Barnes with us today. Now, Kelly is a student athlete who is finishing up, believe it or not, in her master's degree and still competing for St. Bonaventure, and also is part of the Student Athlete Advisory Committee. It's called SAC. And Kelly, let's give the folks listening an idea of what this is all about.
Yeah, so SAC stands for Student Athlete Advisory Committee, and it's all across campuses. It's a NCAA club that all campuses have, or all, Division I schools, Division II, and Division III schools have. There's also like an A10 SAC, so we are also a part of that as well. We meet once a month, and we just send one rep to that meeting, and then kind of all share what we're doing and kind of align what we want to do for A10 SAC initiatives. It's really cool. We have a lot of just meetings. So once every 2 weeks, so biweekly, we meet, and there's 2 representatives from each sports team chosen by their coaches. So usually leaders on the team that want to participate and want to just build community and show a lot of initiative on their teams. It's really fun. We host a lot of events. We do a lot of community service, just a lot of team share too, figuring out what works for other teams that some other teams might be able to implement. So what works well for the swim and dive team that maybe the lacrosse team could start doing. Things like that. A lot of, like I said, help in the community. But yeah, it's fun.
All right. Well, there's a lot there to talk about, but obviously this is something, I don't know how long it's been it's been for quite a few years that this has been developed. This isn't just a recent thing that has started up, but it gives the athlete another avenue to maybe they express themselves. And again, there's some important things, as you mentioned a few things in there, but you get to talk to different schools, different students, and that, if there's something that's going on at one school that maybe would be beneficial to another, you can come back to campus and go, here.
Yeah, for sure.
Here's something that maybe we want to try.
Yeah. So that's really unique. So I joined this club when I was, a freshman here, and it was a little different. It was more open to everyone. And that was kind of something that we did that other schools necessarily didn't do. Usually it's just 2 representatives from each sports team. But we used to do it where you had one major representative and then anyone on the team could really join, which was nice, but it didn't really create any consistency with the members. So my freshman year, the president, he was actually part of the NCAA SAC. So he was the A10 rep for the NCAA. So there was a lot with that goes on with like legislation. So when everything was happening with the House settlement last year, we spoke a lot about that. A lot of our A10 meetings were about that and just what was going on. The NCAA also deals with a lot of things that are going on with football. I know that doesn't really pertain to us in the A10, but we still got some information about that. There's just always a lot of information or legislation about like transfer portals, and I guess they just want student athlete input who it's actually going to directly affect rather than, just older people who, like older people who aren't really going to be directly affected. So it's just, I guess, one of the committees or one of the voices that is important when the NCAA is creating new legislation or changing existing.
All right. Now, with this, obviously, it's something that where the students they get a voice in the university, and that I think that's probably why this was created. You're not just coming to school doing your 4 years, out and out into the world. You actually have a chance to sit down and say, hey, why can't we be involved in something on the other end of campus that may not pertain to athletics?
Right. So that's exactly it. So we have a voice within the athletic department at St. Bonaventure. Then we have a voice within the A10. And then we have a voice even at the NCAA level. So really it's just an avenue to give students to make their voices heard.
All right. Now, you mentioned a lot of community activities. I know that you had a successful one here, Halloween. You've started this program.
Yeah.
In fact, I think my former radio station was part of it the first year. But this is just an example of what SAC does on this campus.
Yeah, that was really fun at our Halloween trunk or treat event, or table or treat now that it's moved to our turf or inside of the RC. Last year was the first year. It was so fun. I mean, every athlete came up to me and said they had so much fun. They want to do more events like that. Just a great event that gets your team together, gets your team with all the St. Bonaventure teams, and then gets your teams in front of the community. We had so much fun last year with doing different games. I know my team, we had a tennis game. I know the baseball team, they were right next to us. They had something with throwing baseballs into a net. And it was just great, interacting with kids, getting kids on a college campus who might not necessarily get to see a college campus otherwise. It just gets college in their mind, gets them thinking, and it allows them to see all our athletic teams. And they're going to be coming out to support us. They might be interested in athletics. So it's really fun. It benefits everyone. Yeah,
and it's another thing. It's a positive event, and sometimes people don't look at athletic departments in that way. That they're not in the public, but there is a really intense part of St. Bonaventure's campus that says we need to be out in the public.
Yeah.
And that has been for years. So obviously this is an extension of that.
Yeah, that's exactly it. I know community is one of St. Bonaventure's core values, and I think our athletic department does a great job at showing that. I think SAC, one of the things I loved about SAC and what I really wanted to push in the past couple years was building a community among athletes. We all go through the same thing, lift, practice, class, maybe eat, maybe sleep. We all go through the same thing. So if we can just support each other in any way possible, we can build that community within ourselves. And then also, which is very important, being involved in the community like we were at events like Halloween. Yeah,
we mentioned, sometimes we forget about the student part of student athletes, but obviously, I talking with Donnie Moffat up there. Don does a great job involving the students to get especially the athletes, to get involved with other things other than their sport.
I'm actually his graduate assistant, so I actually work directly with the swim and dive and the cross country and track teams. So I'm their academic advisor, and that's what we push over in academics. There's so much more to student athletes than just the athlete part. Obviously, we do want to be the best athlete that we can be. All of us do, and we want to push ourselves too, but we also have to push the student part, and be involved in different clubs and activities. My favorite thing over in our academic lab is there's a big poster that says "More Than a Bonnie," and people write, "I am supportive. I am a sister. I am," all those things, and it's really a good way to remember that you are more than an athlete at the end of the day, and there are so many more things that are going for you. All
right. The community service efforts. Now, we talked about the trunk or treat, but there are so many other things that you see teams involved in. I remember seeing the men's basketball team help at the remote area medical event going on. So each team, I don't know if they pick a specific project or if it's something that you can look at and say, what, maybe we can be involved in this.
So each athlete is asked to do 10 hours of community service. And then we have an overall department goal too. And I think it makes you feel good at the end of the day after you do community service. And it's like, I am more than an athlete. I do have other things that I can do. And, I do have the ability to help people in our community. The swim team does so much community service. They're always helping. They do a lot. And they're always involved too. I know every team usually does the warming house, helps out there, and it's fun too. It's a good team bonding exercise too. Actually, getting to cook with your teammates, it's fun. And then at the end of the day, you are helping people who might not necessarily have a meal other than the warming house. So that's a huge part of the community service hours, helping out at the warming house. Also, during the holiday times, there's a lot with like helping out at Salvation Army, ringing the bell. I know my team is going to do that this winter, and we're going to, push it out to other teams. Operation Warm Hearts, we have a great partnership with them, and we recently helped out with a coat drive. So just helping people try on coats, figure out the coat that best fits them. And then in the past years, we've done like a mitten drive, or mitten and hat drive, winter clothing drive. And then we've done all sorts of drives, like toiletry drives at the basketball games. We did a food drive last year. So, and that's all going towards Operation Warm Hearts. And then they can distribute that as they best feel need. But yeah, a lot of support.
All right. Now, when you're a freshman coming on campus, I assume if you're an athlete, one of the first places you should go is to find where the Student Activity Council is and to get involved in this. Now, is it something that the coaches will say right away? Here, you need to go see Kelly or somebody, or is it obviously you do it on your own?
Yeah. So every coach will nominate just 2 athletes for SAC, unfortunately, but then I guess it's more of an information channel. So then we send it out, or I'll send it out to all the teams or all the representatives, the SAC representatives, and then it's their job to send it out to their teams. And it's just a good way to disseminate information.
All right. You have, I think, 350 student athletes, something like maybe 400 now.
It's
that's
crazy.
Right, with the new teams. But all of a sudden, you've got like about 20% of the student body is playing in some sort of Division I athletic program.
Yeah.
So obviously this is a huge part of the university.
Yeah, no, it is. And it's nice to always see on campus, oh, hey, there's the swim team. And, I feel like everyone eventually knows everyone just because we are all athletes. So, no, it's a good community.
All right. Athletics means competition. Is there any competition between teams? Do you do any competition style?
We actually have the Bonnie Cup going on right now. So it's new. Alexis Watson, who was our student athlete services, she implemented the competition, and it's just a competition between sports. So there's a lot of different ways you can get points. So you can get points by having the highest team GPA. Shout out to women's tennis because we usually do. So hopefully we can get our points that way. So we have team GPA, community service hours. So if a certain percentage of your team completes the 10 required hours, you'll get a certain number of points. Then there's also if you attend certain events. So we have like Wellness Wednesdays. Okay. So those are twice a month. So whichever teams go to Wellness Wednesdays, and it's based on percentage, right? So a 7-person women's tennis team can't really compete with the 53 men's lacrosse players, but it's based on percentage. So if a certain if a certain percentage goes to the Wellness Wednesdays, or certain like soccer games we had like a whiteout women's soccer game, or a whiteout and a pink out women's soccer game. So if teams went to that and signed in, certain percentage, you would get points. Points for going to SAC meetings, if your reps go to SAC meetings, things of that nature too. And of course, points for actually competing. If you go to A10s, you get points. If you place at A10s, you get points. If you get a bid into the NCAAs, you'll get points. Things like that. So there's a lot of competition. I do have to say that the men's swimming and diving team is crushing every other team.
They're having a pretty good season right now.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I'll tell you what. This is something, as I mentioned, that I didn't know all that much about, but you have explained a lot. And again, this is such a good, positive thing for the university, and I encourage people in the community to help support. And how can people do that?
I think honestly, just coming to all of our competitions. I know. Obviously basketball is everything to Bonaventure, but there's so much more to the school than just basketball. I love watching the basketball team, but I love watching all of our teams just as much, if not more. Supporting my best friends playing their sport is awesome. And I think, if the community can also get behind going to the soccer games or the lacrosse games or the tennis matches, whatever it may be. They'll get to know the players there too, just as they would the basketball team. So, yeah, support, I guess.
All right. Well, Kelly, thank you very much for stopping by. And again, continued success, not only with the program here, but you've got a few more hours to get done with your studies. So good luck with that.
Thank you. Thank you very much.